All right, so today I want to talk to you about really the arguments that we have and the words that could disarm these arguments. There is a few words that you could say within an argument that will just kill the argument, that will bring peace back into an argument. Okay, so I want to talk about that. Before I do, let me tell you about what happens when we don't use these words. The very first thing that happens within us eternally is we blame ourselves and then we feel blame. We feel drained. When you blame yourself for anything, you have to also justify why you didn't, quote unquote, it's not your fault, right? Because there's two types of blame. Actually, there's one type of blame. There's not one blame that's generated by shame. The blame that's generated by shame only drains you. And when you're blamed, that's generated by shame, all you do is basically blame other people as well. So you have to take all this energy to justify, rationalize your behavior. Okay. When you do that, you drain energy. Your energy to maybe come to a solution is focused on more of the arguments that you want to win, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing, you bottle up guilt. And when you bottle up create guilt inside of you because it makes you feel distant, right? Why would you bottle up guilt inside? When you bottle up guilt, you're not being responsible. First of all, when you blame, you're not being responsible. Second thing, you bottle up guilt because you know that you're supposed to say sorry. You know you're supposed to be responsible. You know that you're wrong in this situation, but you bottle it up. And what happens, the reason why you feel guilt is because a part of you knows the truth, know that you're not right, but you keep on lying to yourself by rationalizing, justifying, denying, and blaming that you are right. But just deep, deep, deep inside of you, you know, just, hey, I should not be saying this. I shouldn't keep arguing. I mean, for me, I've argued in my relationship where I knew I was wrong, but I kept arguing because I just wanted to be right. Can anybody relate to that? I hope you can. Hope I'm not the only one there. Okay. And the reason for that is my first point is I blame myself, right? Or I blame the others. If I have the habit of blaming myself, I will blame other people. Then I'm drained because I'm already fighting to be right. Okay, the second thing, then I feel guilty. I bottle it up, and then I've created distance between me and the person, right? If you ever felt that, then hopefully you did. All right, the third thing that happens, we beat ourselves up, and then we feel connected. See, when you blame yourself, you take on responsibility sometimes that is not yours. And then when you take on responsibility that's not yours, you will also put on your emotion into somebody else, okay, making them responsible for your feelings. But when you beat yourself up, you're busy in your head with this internal conversation that criticizes you, hits you up, beats you up, puts you down, right? You're so in your head that you don't even connect with the people because you're in your head thinking whatever that's going on in your head that's causing you to not be present. Okay. And the worst thing about all this is you tend to deny mistakes. And when you deny your mistakes, it damages trust. Let me repeat this. When you deny mistakes, the mistakes that you make, it damages trust. If you find yourself with people that don't trust you, you might be blaming, you might be denying your mistakes. Okay. And also, as I just talked about, when you drag unresolved grief and unresolved guilt, it keeps you trapped in that guilt. See, if you justify the things that you've done that were wrong, but you justify it as right, you're going to be dragging this big old guilt around you, this big old ball and chain of called guilt, and you'll be trapped in this loop, right? So, and then lastly, if you keep beating yourself up and feeling disconnected, what you're going to do, you're going to dishonor and you're going to dismiss other people, and you're going to defend those you see as a threat. What does that mean by that? This is what you do. This is what we do. I'll say this. When we are beating ourselves up and we're disconnected and we're not being present, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to dishonor and dismiss and defend people that we feel is a threat, even though they may not be a threat. So it positions yourself as a warrior to battle the fight versus someone that could come in and or a peacemaker that will come together and figure out, okay, how can we come together? Sometimes If you tried your best to come together to a resolution and a conclusion and you can't get there, let that be the other person, not you. Let it be that the other person is the one that actually walked away, or the other one that actually was the one that was the immature person within the relationship, right? You be mature. You be the one that is that's constant, that's compassionate, that's connecting. Be that person, right? But in order for you to be that person, number one, you got to stop blaming yourself, bottling up guilt, beating yourself up, denying your mistake, dragging unresolved guilt, and dishonoring, dismissing, and defending yourself, right? All right. So, what can we do in order for us to be more present and really kick out ego out of our conversation? This is important and this is hard. Admit your mistake. If you admit your mistakes, it will accelerate peace. If you admit your mistake, peace will come into the conversation. Peace will show up because there's a peace that comes in, and then you're not taking all your energy going into the justification, the rationalization, trying to create a story of why it wasn't your fault, or why you did what you did, or why you were running late, why there's so many, and there's so much energy trying to make yourself look right, trying to be right, right? But if you admit your mistake, you admit your mistake, it literally accelerates a peace. Peace will come in. Another thing you want to do, you want to acknowledge the flaws, your fault. Allowing your fault, acknowledging your faults allows you to be patient. I said, what do you mean by that? If I acknowledge my fault, like this is my fault. There's one thing to make a mistake, but this is my fault. I did this, right? I'm the one that caused this. When you say this, it also allows you to be more patient with yourself, and it also allows you patient with other people. I'm not saying to take on blame or fault that's not yours, but I am saying if you really admit and you acknowledge, you'll be more aware. And when you're aware, then guess what? You have peace for yourself. You have freedom, and you're not caught up with trying to prove yourself. And then you have patience, you have compassion. You have more compassion on others because you get to know you. You know that you're just like somebody else. You're not blaming and pointing the finger. You know that, hey, in a bad day, I would actually be like that person that cut me off. In a bad day, I would be like this person that's just trying to be right, you know? So I believe there's less judgment when we admit our mistakes and we admit our faults. When you do that, you have peace and patience. And lastly, you need to allow feedback. Allow feedback in your life. Like allow people to give you feedback. If you're allowing feedback, it makes you a safe person. If you're allowing feedback, it'll make you a safe person. What do I mean by that? You see, a lot of people don't like to get feedback, meaning they when somebody gives them a feedback, they think it's a threat. It's like, oh, you're criticizing me, or you're putting me down. Well, yeah, it does depend on where it comes from. If the person that's giving you feedback has no relationship with you, they have no invested trust or invested love in your relationship, yes, indeed, you're going to feel like this is critical. But even in the criticalness, if you have the habit of allowing feedback, you will find the truth or something that you could use within your relationship or within your life. But you be a safe person, so like that people could come up to you and actually speak to you and be able to bring things up. If people don't feel that, guess what? They're not a safe person. And if you're not a safe person, that means you're not admitting and your mistake. You're not allowing you to be able to be responsible for your side of the street. So this is what I wanted to share with you. In order for you to bring peace into your conversation or your conflict, you have to admit your flaws. You have to admit your mistake. You have to allow yourself to be able to create that peace. But if you don't, you only create more chaos, more panic. Okay? The, one of the most powerful words you could say is, I am sorry. It's very powerful, but it disarmed the person that wants to fight with you, right? Just again, I'm not saying to take responsibility or say things that you don't mean, but the way you're going to find out the truth about a situation is for you to reflect on the truth about you. And how do you find out the truth about you? I just said it. You need to admit in your own personal private life the flaws, the mistakes that you make. But don't be so extreme that you blame yourself. You got to have positive and negative, positive things about you and negative things about you. If you only focus on the positive thing and you disregard the negative, you will be blind by the negative things that you're doing. You'll be blind. But if you only focus on the negative things and you don't acknowledge the positive thing, you also will be blind by shame. You will be blind and you will be always blaming and everything that I just talked about. Okay, so it's a good to have balance. You know, when you have balance is when you really every day you can look at yourself and go, admit the flaws, admit the things that you're doing right, right? And then you'll be able to be present in a conversation versus defensive. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, do comment and share. Appreciate you.